Welcome to the Renaissance, Ray. We're
Back,
back.
baby.
It is episode 225, Michelangelo part 3. We're talking to somebody, one of Fox's friends' parents last night, and he said, how many episodes of the Renaissance podcast have you done? I was like, 224 hours of it so far.
Right.
You know, we're just getting warmed up.
Get into our stride. Yeah. Was he impressed?
Well, we're going to start
gotta
talking. He was like, I can't believe you make a living. And I'm like, well, make a living.
Strong. That's a strong term.
Yeah. Barely put food on the table.
Wolves.
Yeah,
the wolves are at the door. Don't get me wrong, but they're on that side of the door.
The wolves have got the door
True.
half open.
So-
I've got my foot jammed up
So what we're
against
saying
it.
is donate early, donate often. Go ahead.
So where we left off last time, Michelangelo, still a teenager. He's living in the Palazzo of Lorenzo de Medici, which, look, it's not bad.
good
Like
taste.
it sounds gay, but he's, and it probably is,
Right.
but he's, he's living in the house of the richest man in Florence, learning his trade,
Absorbing.
and the earliest work, absorbing
everything. Oh my
art,
God. Literature, culture,
penises, humanism.
human penis, whatever.
The earliest, and it's at this time that he's doing his art, and some of it has survived. We're going to talk over the next couple of episodes. We're going to talk about a couple of the earliest works that Michelangelo did, and perhaps unsurprisingly, pretty fucking
For a
impressive.
15-year-old, for a 16, yeah, I'd say so. I'm still trying to find my belly button at age 15.
Yeah, well, for
Anyway, that's
anyone,
true.
really.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah. It turns out he was a prodigy.
Right.
The earliest work of Mickey's that survives, anyway, is known as Madonna of the Stairs or Madonna of the Steps or Madonna della Scala, if you want to be Italian about it. We know of a lost work, The Head of a Faun, but it is, as I said, lost. It's from like this period a little bit earlier, but his first surviving work is this Madonna della Scala. It's a sculpture in marble, sculpted when he was 15 or 16, as a copy of another work, an older work, but with some of his own ideas and alterations, which go on to become standard ways of doing things, depicting things afterwards in the Renaissance. So he's 15 or 16, fucking around on a piece of marble. And it was fascinating for me to read, Ray, that most people doing your bas reliefs, your sculpting in this day and age, your Ghiberti or your Donatello, they're doing it in bronze, but bronze more expensive than marble. See, I think marble,
Expensive.
I think tier one, expensive. To Michelangelo, you just go and pull it up out of the ground.
Bronze.
Like he grew up.
Bronze. Yeah.
Yeah. But bronze requires human involvement. Marble, it's like picking up a rock. You just go pick up a rock out of the
big
quarry.
Rock, but it's still just a rock. Yeah.
Heavy.
Yeah. No, I mean, it certainly is impressive. Go ahead. Sorry.
So he just gets this piece of marble and he starts fucking around on it. Now, according to Vasari in his biography, it was the creation of this work that secured Michelangelo the patronage of Lorenzo de Medici. But I'm of the understanding that he was already living there. So I don't know what the difference between living there and the patronage of him is, but also Vasari, just made stuff up. Even Michelangelo didn't like Vasari's telling of the story, as we know.
He exaggerated as was his want. But I like to think of it as I think you're right. Michelangelo was already there because his father worked very strenuously to slide him under the door. But producing something like this so early on, getting there, I'm sure he got invited to the dinner table if he wasn't already being invited to the dinner table, even though he's 15 and Lorenzo's hanging out with probably older, more erudite man. I'm sure this got him, the front row. So again, 15, 16 years old, I'm sure there was a degree of planning it out. There was a degree of drawing it, but this does seem to have happened, to have been created early on when he got there. And maybe he knew what was expected of him, but I get the sense that he was itching to get his hands on some marble and to start doing something like this.
We'll show you a picture of it. I'll see if I can do this. I haven't tried to do this on this thing before, but I should be able to show a picture. There you go. Can you see that?
Yes.
That should be coming up on our screen. Look at that. We can include this in for the people watching our YouTube, and if you're not, then watch it. This is a picture of the sculpture Madonna della Scala. We will talk about it in a sickening amount of detail in a second, but this is how you get to see what it looks like.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because remember when we got near the end of where we were talking about the capture of Jerusalem, people wanted us to get back to the art. They're like, oh my God, where's the art? So here we are, and we're going to drill down into a couple of pieces. But again, just remember this is a 15 and 16-year-old doing this. So when you see these images, just have some respect, because the boy was amazing.
Yes. So, yeah, people got sick of us talking about cannibalism.
I don't know why.
In the taking of Jerusalem. I don't know. I don't know why. I was down for the cannibalism, Christian cannibalism, nothing sexy.
We sunk our teeth into it. I don't know what more we could have done.
Nice. So, I just, before we get into the sculpture itself, I wanted to talk about the fact that if you want to go see it when you're in Florence, you have to go to Casa Buonarroti, which I've never been to, didn't know existed until this week.
Road trip.
The sculpture itself is pretty small, 21 3/4 inches by 15 3/4 inches, unlike Casa Buonarroti itself, which is quite large. And the story behind it is interesting and tells us a lot about Michelangelo. So it's a museum in Florence. It is situated in a property that was owned by Michelangelo that he left to his nephew, Leonardo Buonarroti. And the existence of this I find interesting in and of itself. So Mickey was so rich that when he was living in Rome in 1508, when he was only 33, he bought 4 adjoining properties in Florence. And then he bought a 5th one 6 years later.
Yeah.
Now, to put this in perspective, when Leonardo was in his early 30s, he was broke and sent, and unknown pretty much, and was sent by Lorenzo to Milan. Go over and see that guy. And like, he wasn't unknown. I mean, he was sent as a musical sort of artisty gift to Sforza in Milan, but he wasn't a real estate
He wasn't
developer.
buying property. Yeah, like, he wasn't Trump ever. Yeah.
At the end of Da Vinci's life, he was still relying on rich patrons to provide him with housing for himself and his coterie of boy toys, which is okay. I mean, that's pretty good. But at 33, Michelangelo is so obscenely wealthy. He's buying 4 houses in downtown Florence. Just for shits and giggles. He wasn't even living in Florence. He was living in Rome, but he thought, you know what? It's about time I had my own palazzo in Florence.
So he just called up the real estate agent and said, look, no, go ahead and give me 4 of those. Just downtown. No, I know. Just put in a bit.
It's like Monopoly. I'll buy 4 hotels and put them on Park Lane. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now, he did return to Florence in 1516. At this stage, he's got 5 adjoining buildings. He lived in 2 of them from 1516 to 1525, rented out the other 3. This is when he was working on the facade of the Basilica of San Lorenzo in Florence. 1525, he moved to another house in Florence that he owned.
Keeps moving.
And all 5 of these properties were rented out. After he moved permanently to Rome in 1534, he wanted to have all of these homes turned into something sexy in Florence, like a palazzo that had some dignity about it, not just a bunch of houses next door to each other. So he asked his nephew Leonardo to transform the 5 buildings, which were on the corner of the Via Ghibellina and the Via Santa Maria. I think one of them now, Via Santa Maria, or no, Ghibellina might be the Via Buonarroti now, into a family palace.
Right.
But his nephew couldn't be fucked, so nothing happened. 30 years later, Michelangelo dies in 1564, spoilers, and Leonardo's still done nothing. Like his namesake, Leonardo da Vinci, he was like, I'm not doing shit.
Just not
when Michelangelo died, his nephew inherited the estate because Michelangelo didn't have any legitimate kids, as we know. He was probably more interested in little boys than offspring. And Leonardo did sort of nothing. And then when he died, one of his sons, Michelangelo Buonarroti the Younger, was a poet, not really a painter, he bought another property and extended it even further and developed the whole thing into something impressive. But it's like generations later, Michelangelo bought it. But at 33, he's buying up property like Crassus. But he had a shit ton of money, but didn't live large. Leonardo, this is fascinating because Leonardo, we know, despite the fact that he wasn't wealthy, whatever money he did get, he spent it on clothes and
had to
parties and gave it away to friends.
He was dressing for the job he wanted.
He dressed well.
Yeah.
Dressing for the boys he wanted. Leonardo liked to dress up. He liked to spend his money, liked to give it away.
Yeah.
Michelangelo, according to his contemporaries, looked like a hermit who lived under a bridge.
Rob you. He looked like a robber.
Yeah. He gave no shits about his appearance, how he lived. He once told his apprentice, Condivi, who wrote his authorized biography, "However rich I may have been, I've always lived like a poor man." He apparently just didn't care about clothes, didn't care about appearance, didn't care about food. He would just eat, as quickly as possible, a bit like Napoleon, just stuff food down his mouth to get back to work. That's all he cared about was the work.
So
his bank accounts and things that have survived show that his net worth at some point was 50,000 gold ducats, more than many princes and actual dukes of the time. So he was insanely wealthy, but apart from buying up real estate, didn't really live large.
I don't want to do too many spoilers, but I mean, did he have a good agent? Was he getting good commissions? Because artists could be ripped off just like anybody else, and we've seen that with Leonardo time and time again. But did he have good tax collecting agency working for him? Good God, that's impressive.
Not sure if real estate agents were a thing back then. I think he just, I don't know, probably just bought it all off the Medici. They probably owned it all anyway.
I have to ask before we move on, because I've known you for way too many years, and I've just seen you in a collection. The many times that I've seen you on screen and in person, I've just seen you in a collection of different T-shirts. So when your ship does come in, and we all know any day now, do you see your wardrobe changing, your lifestyle, your day-to-day schedule, if you will? What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? Because, it's money. It's money. It's money, right?
Yeah, when I finally crack the podcast
Yeah.
riches, that Joe Rogan money starts flowing in.
Yes. Better T-shirts.
Yeah, no, this is a $5 T-shirt. I'm a $5 T-shirt kind of guy.
2 for $7. Right.
I mean, I might spring for a $10 T-shirt if I'm really rolling in the cash,
Yeah.
but
And then you'll try to write it off.
Yeah,
Because that's what you do on your show. You just, with Tony, you just write everything off that you possibly legally can, I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm wearing this. This is my, this part of my work is to wear this $5 T-shirt. I have to write it off.
All right.
I'm just looking at the Via Buonarroti in Florence to sort of get some perspective of where it is. Via Michelangelo Buonarroti. Yeah, so you've been to Florence. I'm trying to give you some perspective. So okay, here's Casa Buonarroti. I found Casa Buonarroti. Okay, it is on the Via Ghibellina still, on the corner of the Via Ghibellina and the Via Michelangelo Buonarroti. It's quite close to a club called Queer.
Yeah, sure.
Which I know you know really well. On the Borgo Allegro.
Yeah, no, you think I'm joking, but
the second time, just to make sure the first time wasn't a fluke. Very close to Santa Croce, the Basilica di Santa Croce. Very close to the river. Oh no, where are we in terms of the Piazza della Repubblica? Okay, yeah, it's very close to the Piazza della Repubblica, like the main sort of fancy shopping place, and also quite next to the Santa Maria del Fiore, the dome. Probably, it's a 5-minute walk from the dome by the looks of it here, very close. Right. So next time we go to Florence, Ray, people keep asking me, people keep emailing me. It's also close to the tomb of Michelangelo too, which is in the Basilica di Santa Croce di Firenze. People keep asking me when we're going to do another European tour, and I keep saying we're not. Like, it's just Ray and I, romantic trip next time to Florence.
Off, I think, is they're going to be the name of the tour.
People got in the way last time of our lovemaking.
Really did. We can't go in 26, but we can go in 27. So Sophie's graduation trip is next. Anyway, we'll work it out. Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll just take her.
There you go.
Or Kiki.
Okay, this just got weird real quick, but okay. Do I call you son, uncle?
Let's
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just call me daddy like she does. So we'll just go over to the picture again of this marble relief. So, what are your first impressions on looking at it, Ray? What jumps out at you?
Before we go into that, should we, just to make sure everybody's on the same page, should we make sure that everybody knows it's a relief sculpture, where it's, it's not three-dimensional, if you will. It's where someone takes a flat surface and they don't so much carve into it. I mean, they lower the material itself so the images they want stand out. So it's almost like you remove it. I thought of it almost as a starter sculpture, because you're having a little bit of depth, you're having a little bit of a 3D, but it's not standing upright. It's, it's still flat, if you will, but it's got some elements of 3D into it. I just thought that was freaking amazing. What did I first think of it? I was reminded of Leonardo's when it comes to, remember how incredible he was with the painting with the drapes or cloth or the light and the wrinkles and everything that he could do. I think this 15-year-old kid carving this piece of marble captured that beautifully with her the bottom half of her dress, or whatever the proper term is, of Mary's gown. The detail is absolutely robe. Thank you. The detail of the robe is amazing. And I'll stop here. The second thing I found amazing was baby Jesus. And most people don't know this. Baby Jesus was quite buff. because you see his right tricep, and the boy is ready to. What was that movie with Arnold with Sylvester Stallone? When he was arm wrestling, and he was a trucker. This kid, is ready to go on the arm wrestling tour circuit. He's buff as fuck. That was what I got.
Yeah, well, when he was magically incarnated inside of Mary's vajayjay. If you're God and you're making
an image of you,
the Son of God,
you but not you.
Yeah, you're making him buff as fuck. And if you've been to the Sistine Chapel, you've seen how Michelangelo depicted women on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel.
Amazons. Sorry.
They're all Schwarzenegger. Yeah. Schwarzenegger looked at those and went, yes, this is what I want to be looking like.
If I had a sex change, it'd be like that. No, I can't believe I just said that.
Okay, so let me run through some of the highlights for this. On the surface, not a lot going on. Fairly simple depiction of Mary, baby, and some little chubby kids on the top here. But under analysis, there's actually a lot going on here.
Right.
So, yeah, the back computer says that is one big middle finger she's giving us right here. So here's a couple of things that jump out. Mary supposedly gave birth to Jesus when she was 15 or 16 when she got knocked up. She does not look 15 or 16.
She looks older.
She looks...
Yeah. She could
legally... at least I'm going 35.
Legally join the army. Absolutely, yeah. Not a teenager.
She's looking maybe serene, maybe a bit morose, a little bit sort of depressed, sad looking, while she's staring at these young boys here. There's 4 young boys in the background, 1, 2, 3, and one over here. 4. Right. These are actually known as putti, right. Putti, singular putto, the plural putti, iputti. They are basically what we would call these days cherubs.
Baby angels.
Little chubby angel boys, doing a job. They seem to be laying out a sheet or draping a sheet. And if you look at the balustrade, so there's stairs here, which is why it's called Madonna of the Stairs. There's 5 stairs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the balustrade here, but if you look at it, it's actually the cross that Jesus will be crucified on. The stairs are the ladder to his suffering. And yes, it's foreshadowing. So she's looking at that and going, uh-oh. Oh,
it's him
shit.
and not me.
I see a cross in his future.
That was wrong. I shouldn't have. That was wrong.
Yeah. So one of the things that was sort of not Leonardo, Michelangelo's invention apparently, and becomes a common tool used in Renaissance art after this, is the depiction of the baby's hand sort of resting behind him here, perhaps demonstrating that he's asleep. It looks like she's lifting up her robe for him to suckle at the breast. Maybe he was and now he's asleep, or she's just covering him up. But the way the hand lies here is sort of foreshadowing death, according to some art scholars. So it's he may be a baby now, but he gonna die.
Wow.
Unlike everybody else who isn't gonna die, he's gonna die.
Unnatural causes.
Yeah. So this is symbolizing the cross. She's got a sense of foreboding about the future. Her halo is interesting. You see this halo up the top around her head, and it's sort of it's carved into the frame of the marble. Right. Sort of, he didn't cut it off. It continues up into the frame, which is interesting. Right. It's also unfinished. So if you look at, if I zoom in on, can I zoom in? No, that is zoomed in. Okay. If you look at the head of the putto punto or the two putti on the side, you can still see the chisel marks, all the way down here. So that was apparently kind of a style at the time to leave things a little bit rough around the edges. Whether or not he abandoned this and never got to finish it, you can also see some around this part of the stairs or the balustrade or the background here. Whether or not Michelangelo deliberately didn't finish it or just didn't have time to finish it, we don't know. We don't know much about the story behind it. But it is unfinished for whatever reason. What else? Well, the drapery of the robe is probably the highlight of this for me. Like a 15-year-old kid with chisel.
Exactly.
Is banging away at a piece of marble, and he's able to depict the drapery and the folds of this robe. Even this bit here where it's sort of caught on the corner of this stairs that she's sitting on, the way it catches there and hangs over. Like, come on. Fuck me. And the way that she's toying with it with her middle finger here, she's thinking about how she's going to pleasure herself later once those angels fuck off. She gets some privacy. But the way the drapery sort of, her finger is caught in the middle of the drapery there as she's like sliding it in and out and in and out and in and out. She's thinking of Yahweh, the Lord, and what he did to her to knock her up. She's like, oh, that was so hot. Just the way that's is depicted.
Yeah. There's a lot.
Oh, I'm going to get so Charlie Kirked. Don't kirk me, people.
Please. I need him.
I'm never going back to your country.
I wouldn't.
So that's it's amazing, right? It's like his ability as a 15, 16-year-old to capture all of this is stunning. The feet, possibly not finished. You know, they're not really all there. Few little nubbly toes. Right. This foot's sort of a little bit weird. But he didn't care that much about feet. He's like feet schmeat. I'm more interested in fingers, hands,
dresses, robes.
Her face.
Yeah, there's just enough in the face.
There's something about it.
Sorry, go ahead.
Just enough. But the lack of emotion and the lack of movement in her face and the side-on profile, which is the easiest thing to do in a bas-relief, fairly low effort. And also kind of that pre-Renaissance depiction. You know, when we started the series, we were looking at some of the art of like Giotto and people like that who just preceded the Renaissance art. And we always had these depictions of Mary and women with no emotion on their face. All their faces look the same, sort of this Grecian nose. It's just a straight line down here. There's not a lot going on. But the big thing, I think, and the thing that's sort of the precursor to what Michelangelo would go on to do is the way the baby's torso is twisted and turned and starting to emerge out of the marble. The baby is obviously the focal point. The hand and the baby are the focal point of this sculpture. And there is movement, like his torso is sort of twisted a little bit, this arm coming out over her left arm here. His ability to start to craft these three-dimensional characters in marble that show movement, it's referred to as contrapposto, the characters that are moving and twisting and turning and show activity or action in the marble, is one of the things that makes Michelangelo's sculpting really stand out as we go on and we eventually get to the statue of David, etc. Obviously, his ability to bring life to these characters in the stone is what he's best known for. And even at this early age, you start to see this talent here in the baby Jesus.
Because remember when we were doing Leonardo, what he was able to do every time he did a painting, you swore there was movement. I mean, it was dynamic. There was somebody, there was some gesture. There was someone was literally in the middle of a gesture, and there it looks like the baby is stirring. He's going to be maybe moving closer to the breast or whatever, but he literally looks like he's about to pull away to a degree from his mother. And if you notice, his back is a slightly lighter color than her robe, and so again, more differentiation. But again, to be able to do something like that at 15, that kind of detail. I mean, how many drawings did he make? Did he make a clay model? I have no idea. But the point is, no matter what, when you can produce something like that and you're still not shaving every day, I mean, that's just utterly amazing. And maybe that's one of the reasons why he's going to be mega rich in his early 30s, because he's already showing incredible talent now. And there's a lot of rich people around Florence and other places that will pay well for someone who can produce something amazing. And clearly he is on that path.
Now, the 5 steps,
Yeah.
Ray, apparently refer to the mysteries of the Rosary. As a good Catholic boy, can you explain to the audience at home what the mysteries of the Rosary are?
Absolutely not. I don't remember the first thing. I was never a big rosary guy. I think I had a mental emotional block. I was taught it. Father Kelly, he didn't beat me into me, as far as you know, because I'm not allowed to. Anyway, no.
He slipped it into you. He didn't beat it into you. He just slipped it into you.
I don't want to go back into my Catholic. No, I honestly don't remember anything about the rosary. I think it looks cool, but that's just to get chicks. I don't know.
Really? You picked up chicks with the rosary?
It's a story.
Rosary beads.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. You were like, you know what? If you put these inside you and pull them out one at a time. Oh, no. Wrong kind of beads. Yeah, don't choke on your gin or
I'm
whatever
good.
it is you're drinking there. So Catholics have these beads and they say prayers on them. The beads help you keep track of the prayers as you're going through. You're saying your Hail Marys, your Our Fathers, your Praise Bees, Glory Bees. The mysteries of the Rosary apparently are the meditation themes that go with the prayers. They're episodes from the lives of Jesus and Mary, and they're grouped into sets, as I understand it. Each set is called a mystery because you're meant to contemplate the spiritual meaning behind the event. You're like, God knocked up 15-year-old Mary when she was a virgin. What is the spiritual mystery behind that?
Let me think about that. Let me go in my closet where it's dark, and let me think about that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, yes, early mastery of the contrapposto. He's able to make, her body's a little bit three-dimensional, but the baby in particular, and the drapery on the step, all these sorts of stuff that are coming out from the marble and showing depth and dimension and movement. The theme of Mater Dolorosa, the fact that she's brooding, she's quite large, a troubled look on her face. This is, sort of a foreshadowing of the Pieta theme that we remember seeing in the Vatican, the sculpture of her holding the dead baby, the dead man, Jesus on her lap. But the Dolorosa, the word Dolorosa in Italian comes from dolore, pain or sorrow. So it's Mary of the Sorrows.
Yeah.
And then, we talked about this in the earlier episodes. He didn't know his mother. His mother died when he was quite young, and he was raised by a stonecutter's wife in Settignano. So he was nursed by her. So maybe this is a depiction of what she looked like. Maybe she was a large, brooding-looking woman. Maybe it's a depiction of him being suckled by the stonecutter's wife.
I mean,
you've
got to think, I don't care who you are, if your mother dies when you're young, very young, whatever, I mean, there's a hole. There's a hole in your head, there's a hole in your heart, there's a hole in your psyche. That's going to be with you, no matter whether you're an artist or a dishwasher or whatever. That's going to be with you. And the idea that it didn't permeate or work its way into his art, I don't know. I'm not sure if we said this already, but even though the actual object is quite small, you gave the dimensions earlier, because Mary goes from the top to the bottom, feels larger. It looks larger until you kind of walk up on it and go, oh, it's not that big. But because she is so dominant in it and she is quite large, relative to everything else in the material, it does have a larger feel to it. But again, this 15-year-old, I'm trying to think of an equivalent. It's like, can a 15-year-old pick up a guitar and come up with an incredible guitar solo? Or are we talking Mozart here? I mean, the kid, 15, obviously, but again, he just did something amazing. Not the very first thing that he created in his life, but he's still learning as he's going. And it was incredible.
I want to finish by talking about cherubs more. I mentioned they're referred to as putto or the putti in religious art, but they're sometimes called a cherub or cherubim is the plural. Although in Christian theology, a cherub is actually one of the most senior types of angel, but in traditional Hebrew theology, a cherub is sort of a lower rank of
they're babies
angel.
After all, how advanced? Go ahead.
Well, never judge a book by its cover, Ray. Are they babies or are they just midgets?
They're so old, they've shrunk and they've lost all their hair and they've got bodies like when they were born. No, you know what? I think you're onto something there. I apologize.
They're Tyrion Lannister with wings.
There we go.
Like they're small, but quite. No, he wasn't very powerful. In the Book of Ezekiel, in your Old Testament, there, Ray, chapters 1 and 10, Ezekiel mentions seeing 4 living creatures, chayot in Hebrew. And he uses the word cherub, or it's plural, in chapter 10, but it's not really sure what the relationship is between the two, the chayot and the cherub. This is where cherubs come from, the Book of Ezekiel. He says that a cherub has 2 pairs of wings and 4 faces.
Unattractive.
That of a lion, an ox, a human, and an eagle. He says their legs were straight, the soles of their feet like the hooves of a bull, gleaming like polished brass.
Right. All I've seen is little fat babies so far, but that sounds less attractive than the
easier to paint than 4 faces and 2 pairs of wings. There are 6 visions of the prophet Ezekiel exiled in Babylon during the 22 years 593 to 571 BCE. Most scholars today believe that, unlike many of the books in the Old Testament, this is actually mostly written by the real Ezekiel, who was really exiled in Babylon. Bits and pieces probably added to it over the years, interpolations by some of his followers and fans. But the most famous section is Ezekiel 25:17. The path of the righteous man is beset upon all sides by the tyranny of the I can't remember the actual Tarantino version, but a bit of movie trivia
Indiana
for
Jones.
people. So those people have seen in Pulp Fiction, Indiana Jones.
Yeah, when they're going to
Why
the
Indiana
chalice,
Jones?
they say that in the first one. Anyway, I can't remember I remember when you said that. I can't remember because it's something about walking a narrow, straight path to avoid the traps. I apologize for disrupting your flow.
So in Pulp Fiction, Jules has this speech that he gives when he kills people. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the tyranny of the
and then his voice goes up.
But
sorry, I love that.
Yeah, but I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. So people may or may not know this. This is lifted. Right. I discovered this by accident a couple of years ago. Tarantino lifted this almost word for word from a Sonny Chiba film from 1976 that's called either The Bodyguard or Karate Chiba or Bodyguard Chiba or whatever. different
Right.
names for it. So at the beginning of the film, there's a scrolling text with a voiceover that says this: "The path of the righteous man and defender is beset on all sides by the iniquity of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the father of lost children. And I will execute great vengeance upon them with furious anger, who poison and destroy my brothers, and they shall know that I am Chiba the bodyguard when I lay my vengeance upon them." Tarantino moved the words around a little bit.
Just enough. Yeah.
And this isn't actually from the Bible, very disappointingly. When I looked this up, after Pulp Fiction came out in 94, I went and looked this up in the Bible. Doesn't exist in the Bible. Sonny Chiba just made it
Bible
up.
wishes.
And then Tarantino just ripped it off of Sonny Chiba. Well, Ezekiel 25:17 is talking about God's wrath for the hostility of the Philistines. Right. And in the King James Version, which is where the Sonny Chiba line comes from, it actually says, "And I will execute great vengeance upon them with furious rebukes, and they shall know that I am the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon them." Tarantino sort of went back to that, and "You will know that my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee." So,
trivia.
There you go. That's all I wanted to say. We get that from Ezekiel. We get cherubs from Ezekiel. And that is that. So that is the first in the Michelangelo pieces of art that we have to look at. Even at 15, kids got some skills.
You got game.
Next episode, we'll be talking about the next work that he did that survived, which... bit more interesting, and turns out was one of his favorite things that he ever did, and he kept it with him his entire life, a bit like Leonardo and his Mona Lisa. It's known as the Battle of the Centaurs.
And it's not an orgy. It looks like an orgy, but it's not. I looked it up.
Yeah, it's an orgy. Yeah, in his mind, it was an orgy, and there's not even I can't even see a fucking centaur in it, but we'll talk about the Battle of the Centaurs and what a centaur is and why there are centaurs in the next episode.